Hello. A little while ago I made a 7x5 folio album and it was made with the Beaches Calling papers, and I actually made up the actual book and said that I would come back with another video for the decorating of it. And somebody very kindly sent me an email and said, "You haven't done that." I was absolutely convinced that I had. So whether I did it as a live, I don't know. But I'm rectifying that today, and I'm going to show you how to decorate the folio album. And I'm going to use beautiful, let's put it here, Merry and Bright papers. And for the whole of the folio itself, I'm going to use just the patterns and solids, and then I'll decorate it up later so that you can see it. So, because there's a lot of cutting, I have done the cutting itself. But if you look back over the video I did, the tutorial on actually making this, you will know we got as far as making the actual folio and cutting the pieces for the waterfall. So, and we made, sorry, I've got loads of pieces here. We made the, we made the 2 pocket pages. So if you're unsure, if you just scroll back, you will see the video for making it. I will try very hard to put a link in below, but otherwise it's the 7x5 folio album, and you'll see the instructions that will get you to this point. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is sort out my magnet. So you'll see in the last video that I suggest you put 2 little marks just so that you don't decorate these pages. So I'm going to put my magnets in place. I've got one, and then I want another one. I'm going to move it a long way apart. Magnets have this habit of jumping together, and I'm going to get a little bit of, just a little bit of double-sided tape. This is the Cool Cats tape, and it's really strong, and I want to move that just in a little bit so that it's not right on the edge, because otherwise when you come to put the paper down it's really difficult to get a nice line. So I'm going to put my magnet onto there like that, and I'm then going to cover it in a little bit of my tiger tape. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this, and what this does is just smooths it all out a bit. So I'm just going to put some of that, and I'm just pulling it tight as I'm putting it on. You don't have to, but it does just smooth it out, and it secures the magnet really nice and tight. So I'm just going in and I'm just burnishing out any wrinkles, going gently around the magnet because I don't want to tear the tape. So I'm just going around like that. And then I'm going to put the other magnet on the top. And I'm just going to use a little bit of double-sided tape. That's come off. Stuck to my finger. Do you know what? I'm just going to see if I can just put that on like that, because I was going to have to peel it off anyway, so I've done it on my finger instead. And then making sure that everything is straight, I'm just going to put that down like that, and that wasn't quite straight. But fortunately, the magnet didn't stick anyway. So let's try it again. I know why. It's because I do need that tape. Come on, Sarah. Let's put that back on there. Let's try again. So, oh, it's just not going to have it, is it? Okay, I just needed a little bit more. Find a pokey tool. Take this piece off. Never do magnets live. Okay, so I'm just making sure that's all lined up. Then I'm going to push it down and I'm going to get my finger inside and just give it a really good push. So hopefully, yes, it's worked this time. It's now stuck where I want it to be. So I'm going to put another little piece of tape over the top of that, just to smooth that down all the way round, just to hold that magnet in place. So that's my first job done. Okay, so I'm going to decorate up these side panels first, and for that I need 2 pieces of paper, and those pieces are 6 7/8 by 1 7/8, and I'm going to round the corners. Now be careful, I say this from experience, it's very tempting just to round both corners, but do one first, put it into place, and I'm just going to go round this with my black distress ink. So I'm just going very quickly round these edges with my black distress ink, and I'm going to pop that onto there like that. So I just glue this down, glue around the edges, and pop that onto there like so. Now when you open it up, you want to make sure, and this is why I say don't do them both at once, that you're curving the right edges, because it's going to be the opposite edge. So I'll just go round, curve there. Somebody was asking me how I got the curved edges. It's one of these. We Are Memory Keepers do one. This is just another version. I don't know who made this. I've had it a while. And it's got 3 settings on it. So you can create different sizes of curves. So that's just going to go onto there like that. So that's decorated your front and back of your flap. Okay, let me just get rid of these bits. I just always end up with bits. They get stuck onto other things. So then I had 2 pages that I said had to be flat because they're going to hit each other. So it's really important on those pages you don't have anything that is going to have any dimension. So what I've done, and I've done them slightly smaller this time than on The Beach is Calling, is I've used my Corkats photo corner dies, and I've cut the slots in. Really difficult to see, but there are little slots in there. And then I've used the accompanying die to cut the mat, and that is just going to fit into there like so. Now on The Beach is Calling I did the larger size, but I really wanted to show the Christmassy elements of this. So obviously if you've got the dies and you've got the larger one, you can use the larger one, but I wanted to use the smaller one this time, and I will probably, no, I probably won't put anything around the edge because otherwise it's got to be flat. So I'm just going to go around the edge of this. So as I say, I've just used the patterns and solids. I haven't actually used any of the main paper pads for this one. I like the patterns and solids, and I just felt for this, and because I'm going to put lots of decoration on it as well, so make sure you go round but don't touch the the little bits you've poked through. It is important to put the mat in because otherwise you will end up gluing it down so that you can't get the mat in or out. So that one's going to go on there, and then I've cut the second one to go in here. So I'm just popping that in to the 4 parts like that, like so, and then glue. Oh, you see, I do forget. I'm going to go around the edges first. So I'm going to go around all the edges. Now, as I say, you don't have to put photo slots in. You just have to remember that these 2 pages do need to be flat. So whatever you put on them, you need it to be flat. Okay, so I'm just going to go around all of these, like so, and that is going to go on to there. Let's lift it up. Oops. That's going to go onto there, like so. Now, I've also cut myself 6 spines. So the spines are 6 7/8, so all of the sizes are 6 7/8, and the spines are 7/8. You might need to trim them down a little bit, and you want 6 of those. So I can start looking at what type I want to put, and I'm thinking, because I've got the black and the red, I might put a green and a red there and there. That looks quite nice. I might just do the waterfall page first, but I do like the green there, so I might just put the green one in so that I've got red, green and black in a sort of pattern. Appeals to my maths teacher personality. So I'm going to pop that into there like that. Okay. I always put my papers down before I put any glue on, just to make absolutely sure I've got the right piece and it's the right size, because once you put the glue and stuck it down and found it's the wrong one, it's not going to look so good. So this is my waterfall. So I'm going to put this to one side for a moment and get my waterfall mechanism. Okay, so in the first video I've showed you how to make this actual mechanism, and you've cut your waterfall pieces. So what we're going to do is, with this first one, we're going to round the bottom corners. Whoops. Oh, more speed, less haste. And we're going to stick that to the bottommost fold. So your piece started off like that. You folded your 5 over and you folded the whole thing so that it's double there. So this is going to go to your bottom fold, which before you folded it over was your top fold. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue onto here. And I'm using my nozzle to work it in. So I'm not putting a lot, but I'm actually working it in with the nozzle. And that goes up to, but not over, that first fold. And this one you don't decorate before you put it down. The rest of them you'll decorate before you put them down, but this one you don't. Now, we had this strip, which is 2 inches longer than this, and I said at the time, put 1 inch score in. So I'm now going to fold that 1 inch score. I'm going to take this underneath both pieces. Now everybody does this in a slightly different way. I go straight under both pieces, and I'm going to glue this little 1 inch onto here. When I put the glue on, I don't take the glue right up to the fold. I leave about 1/2 centimetre. That gives me the flexibility to keep it running smoothly. So, and I'm going, it's really hard because it's black on black. Let me just stick that underneath there. So you can see there's the end of my tag, and I'm going just above where that curve of my tag starts. And I'm just going to fold that over, move that out of the way because I don't want like any glue on it, and just press it down. So because you haven't taken the glue right to the edge, you've got some flexibility in there. So the reason I don't score the second one is because I want to keep it quite loose. So I'm grabbing my end, I'm just going to bend that one over. And I'm not going to do a massive burnished fold on there. I'm just bending it into place. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm not going to take the glue right up to the end. And because I've done that, I've got more flexibility when it comes to moving this. Okay, if I'd scored both ends, if it hadn't fitted exactly, I would then have to have gone in and stretched all of this, and I end up with paper cuts. So by just doing the one end and then not taking the glue right to the edge, I give myself more flexibility. I can now decorate this tag. So let me find my tags. So I've cut 5 of these, and these are cut at 3 5/8 by 3 3/8. So they are 3 5/8 by 3 3/8. I'm going to round the corner, go around the edges, like so, and pop that first one into place. Now on the Beaches Calling one, I've used alternating papers. On this one, I've used the same papers. Really, because I've only just started opening these, so I haven't got any scraps yet. So I thought, as I haven't got any scraps, I might as well have the same pattern. As you make more of these and you start to realise you're making them with the scraps, then the patterns change. So I'm now going to take the rest of my card, make sure it's the right way up before I do it, yes. Okay, so when I was cutting these, I did have to think of the direction because it's got writing on it, so I didn't want the writing to be going in the wrong way. So I'll just go around the edges of this. And then that's going to stick onto there, all the way around the outside. Pop that on to there, like that. And then that goes on the second panel there. So a bit of glue. Don't overdo the glue because you don't want it all coming out. Okay, so just work the glue in with that nozzle, and then that is going to go over there, just underneath the fold. You obviously don't want it on the fold, otherwise the mechanism won't work. Just give that a good burnish down. Leave that one while we do the next one. Make sure we're the right way up before we go cutting the corners. Round off, whoops, more haste, less speed. Round off that one and that one. Go around the edges. Nearly forgot. It's sat right in front of me and still I forget. I find myself getting so busy and wrapped up I forget to do things, or I do things incorrectly. I was at a workshop, Call Cat's workshop, the other week, and I was using this glue gun, and I went to put it back in its holder and put it in my tea. So tea still tasted fine, but it's the sort of daft thing you find yourself doing. So instead of putting it back in its holder, it went in the tea. So that's going to go onto there, like so. And then the whole thing is going to go on the next one. Like that. So I'm not pressing the trigger, I'm just pushing that glue into the fibres. And then that's going to go on the top, like that. Whoops. Okay, give that a burnish. And on to the next one, checking that they're the right way up because they aren't a square. So you do need to just check. Do the same with that. Go around it. All the way around. And then I'm going to pop that onto there. Whoops. Okay, like so. Put that down onto there, just straighten it up, get any excess glue off. And then that goes on the next one. So when you, if you use the Cool Cat's Waterfall die, it will give you 6 folds. So you will need to take off the topmost one. If you're making this without that, then you need 5 1/2 inch scores. That's the word I'm looking for. So that one, and then finally, should have one more somewhere. There it is. Finally, this one. And this. Just go around the edges very quickly. So this is the first time I've used this paper. I must admit, I really do love it. And that's going to go onto there, like that. That's going on there, like that. I always like the Graphic 45 Christmas papers. I do always make sure I've got all the bits well out of the way, because otherwise you find you've finished a book and there's a little bit stuck. So just going in here again, hardly pulling the trigger, just working what I've got into the card, and then that goes on to there, like so. So give that a good burnish down, like that. Now at the moment you'll have a tag that's too long. So what I'm going to do, and you don't have to use this, but I am going to use my Cool Cat's alignment strips, and I'm going to find the 1/2 inch. See, that's 5/8. That's the 1/2 inch one. Let's pop those bits back in there. And I'm just going to line that up with the bottom of this one. So basically you want 1/2 inch on the bottom, and I'm just going to draw a faint line like that, and then use my small guillotine, which is under here. Oh well, I use the trimmer, whichever comes to hand first, and just making sure I go just inside that line, because obviously you don't want the line. Just chop that off. Pop that back under there. I'm going to round these corners, open this up first so it's out of the way, round these corners. Okay. Now you want a piece on the bottom here. So I've cut a piece at the right width, which is 3 5/8, but I haven't cut it to the length. So what I'm going to do is pull it right back, but then push this so that it doesn't quite come through. You can see your band there, whether you can see. So if you push it right through, it comes right through and you can see it the other side of the band. Keep it inside the band. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of tape on there for a second. You'll see why in a minute. And then I'm going to start closing it. Now, if I've pushed that too far up, it won't close because the bit from here just won't push it. So this, because I've got that taped, I can see that that closes perfectly. So now I can actually pull this down to where I want it to be. It's still hiding any black, and now I can be absolutely sure that that is the right size. So I'm now going to trim the corners of this. So I'm just going to go around the edges of this. Don't really need to do the top because it's not going to show. And I'm going to pop some glue onto here. Whoops. Like so. And push that under. Now, I didn't measure this one first. It just happened to be the size that was left. I would always say go for more rather than less. It just so happens that this fits perfectly, and that was a sheer fluke. Okay, so that's now going to come down quite happily and make my waterfall. Now, at the moment, the underside of these is black. That's absolutely fine. You can leave them black if you want. Or, as I've done, you can cut some cream card. Now, the cream card will be the same width as the red pieces, but it will be ½ an inch shorter because there's ½ an inch tucked under there. So I'm just going to round off my corners, pop my glue onto there, and pop one onto there. I just think this finishes it off, and it also gives a nice place either to put another photo or to put you know, a piece of journaling to talk about what's on your photos. So just put some glue on there and pop that one onto there. And you don't need 5 of these because the bottom one won't need one. So we'll do this one. Pop some glue onto here. Pop that onto there like that. So that's number 4. And then number 4 will be this one. And pop that on like so. And pop that onto there like that. And then you can see how they all come together and they look much neater underneath. Okay, so let me bring back the book. So our waterfall is going to go on this page. So I'm going to choose my patterned paper, and I think I'm going to go for the, do you know what? I think that looks quite Christmassy. So I think I'm going to go for the green with this on top. So I'm going to go around the edge of the green. So all your pages are 6 7/8 by 4 7/8, and you'll need 6 of them. So 6 7/8 by 4 7/8, and you will need 6. So I'm liking that. I'm going to put that down there. Like that. Like that. And then when you glue this on, you only put glue on this strap. You don't put any glue anywhere else other than on the strap. So I'm just going very carefully along the strap. If you get glue anywhere else, it won't work. So my glue is just on the strap, and I'm just going to position that. I could use my alignment tools just to get it absolutely straight. So it's 1/2 inch that side, look at that, and 1/2 inch that side. Absolutely perfect. So that's that in place. So the next thing I'm going to do is focus on those 2 pages that we made. And I'm going to put my papers on those 2 pages. So one of my pages is going to stick onto the edge there, and the other one is going to stick onto the edge of this spine. So in fact, I'm going to make sure they're both up the right way. Probably help, wouldn't it? So I might put that one on there and that one on there. Okay, so before I put them on, I'm going to decorate them. So I've got 4 pieces, and I'm going to decide. So the pocket papers are 4 5/8 by 6 3/8, so they're slightly smaller. I think I'm going to put, reminding myself which is going where, that's going there. I think I'm going to put this on the outer edge. So this is the bit that you'll see first. So I'm just going to go round here. Like so. And I'm going to stick that on to there. Now the reason I'm doing this before I stick the pages in is because I actually want to try and cut a little semicircle into these. Just make sure that's on straight. So that's the front of that one. So this one is going to come this way, so this is going to be the front. So I'm going to put the other one of these onto this front like this. So I'm going to go round the edges, round the edges, and then pop that one onto there. Now on the front of these you could put more photo slots. You could do it however you want to do with that. I'm just going to pop that on there like so. And then I'm going to find my cornering tool. There it is. I forgot to get out earlier. I'm going to find my cornering tool, not my cornering tool, my semicircle. and I'm going to try really hard to get this. So I'm only going through the one layer, so it's actually going inside. I want it in about the middle, and I want about half the circle. I'm happy with that. I'm going to push down like that so that I end up with a nice semicircle there. So I'm going to do the same with this one. So I want it about halfway. I want it about halfway. Now I could have used my halfway tools, but I'm just going to eyeball it. So those are now ready to go on. I'm going to stick my other papers to the back. So I'm just going to go around all of these. Stick that to the back of there. So that's going on the back of that one. And again, you could put photo slots on here. I think I'm going to decorate these up with bits and pieces, which I shall look at later on. That one's going to go onto there. Like so. Like that. And then this one, as I say, is going to go onto this spine. So it's going to come down like that. So you want it to go next to, but not on, the line. So again, I'm going to just do that. And then that is going to go onto there, and I'm centering it up. Again, I could center it up with centering tool, but I'm just going to do it like that for the time being. Like so. And then this one, which just needs a little bit more persuasion, I think, is going to go on the edge of the book. So I'm just going to put some glue on here. Oops, sorry, put some glue on here, like so, and then put that to the edge of the book, and I'm just going to make sure that they're the same height before I burnish it down. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to give it a press, I don't want it to move, and then burnish that down there. Okay, so I've now got my papers for the back, so I'm just going to pop these on. I think we'll do that one and that one, like that, or that one and that one, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And I've got my spines to go on, and again you can choose how you want your spines to go. I'm not going to do that, all of that right now. This spine you will need to cut. So let me just find, which one am I going to do? I'm going to do this one. So this one you will need to cut. So all I'm going to do is just put a little mark where I want to cut it. Let's get my trimmer. Ooh, things falling all over the floor everywhere. Okay, line that up with my mark. Trim that. And that's the only one you're going to have to trim because your page is on it. So half of it will go on that side, obviously the right way up. So half of it will go on this side. Like so, just make sure it's not over the fold, and then the other half will go the right way up on this side, like so. And if I had been even slightly clever, I would have made sure that the patterns match up, but I didn't. Okay, and then it would have looked quite seamless, but you know, can't be clever all the time. Right, so that one goes in there, and then that looks relatively seamless. If I'd have done it properly, I'd have matched those patterns up, but I didn't. And then with this one, if you want a pocket, you're just going to take a piece off the bottom and mount it onto a piece of card to make a pocket, as you've seen me do many, many times. So that's the main parts of that book, that folio completed. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please write a comment or click on the thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, then please subscribe. Thank you ever so much for watching. Bye-bye.